Okay, dokie, gang. What is
Yeah.
happening? How we doing? How we doing? How we doing? Hey,
How you
it
doing?
is Friday for us. It is Thursday night for you. Hopefully, you've had a fantastic day, and you're ready to get into a little 2024 rookie mock draft action. Now, we have some important updates. Some are quite sad, and some are good. So there's a little bit of a mix of both there. But the first thing that we should talk about is Emeka Egbuka, who is not declaring. He is returning to school. So unfortunately, you will not be able to draft Emeka Egbuka this year. But I think it makes a lot of sense. He was injured this year, wasn't able to put up the production that he is, worthy of putting up. And he'll come back. He'll be the number one weapon on this team, and I think he'll be a lock for the 2025 first round. Makes sense. He wasn't a lock for the first round this year, and he's a first round talent. So, but we saw Chris Olave return for his senior year. He was fine. Disappointing, but it makes sense.
Yeah, I think it just kind of that doesn't slim out. There's still a lot of good first round talent. A lot of people are going to bump up now that Emeka Egbuka is no longer declaring. But yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see what that look like for Emeka Egbuka going into next year.
Yeah,
I don't know what that 2025 class looks like.
Yes.
With that talent, but on my list, from what I know, he's number one wide receiver.
Oh, it's a good class. We'll see. But thanks for joining us, guys. Do us a massive favor. Go ahead and hit that like button. Now, while Egbuka decided to come back, we do know that Marvin officially declared finally. I know a lot of people who were wanting Marvin Harrison Jr. were like, okay, can you stop playing around? Can you go ahead and declare? Well, he declared. Yeah. So he will be in the 2024 NFL draft. We see you guys in the chat. What's up, Ferone? What's up, Connor? What's up, Styles? What's up, Daniel? Yeah. Daniel says he just became a mother flocker. First time in the stream. You love to see that. Of course, if you use our promo code LAND, definitely DM us over on Discord. We'd be happy to get you set up with all of our perks. Again, guys, keep in mind, if you want the fantasy hotline, which is a direct DM to us for advice, if you want us to review one of your dynasty teams, if you want to unlock the 2024 Dynasty Rookie Report version 1, there'll be new versions. February 1st is when version 2.0 will come out. But if you want to unlock all of that, make sure you're using our promo code LAND when you sign up to the Flock Fantasy website. If you do use the promo code LAND, DM us. We'd be happy to get all of your perks all set up. But we will be doing a 2024 Superflex Rookie Draft. And the people in the chat, the good people, the hardworking people in the chat, they can join us. How can they actually go about joining us, though? What's logistically the way that they can get in?
Logistically, the way you can join any mock draft for the rest of the year is join our Discord first. That's the number one step. The link in the description, and the link is going to be in the chat here in a second. Once you join that Discord link, all you have to do is go to the Fantasyland tab with the orange footballs on the left of your screen, and then go to content releases. Content releases, that's how you can go. And then that's where I'll be joining or putting the link to this live stream in every single live stream and mock draft link. Okay, so once again, join our Discord, link in description, link in the chat, content releases, and that's exactly how you can join this mock draft. It is first come, first serve, so definitely keep that in mind. And I'll be sending out this link here right now. 3, 2, 1.
Okay, and while you are sending that link out, just want to let you guys know that we are using the look, let's just say this. There are not many 7-round mock drafts that are updated very consistently, okay? But on today's video, we will be using one from Pro Football Network. And yeah, the draft order isn't 100% accurate, but it's really this one or the one that we used a couple days ago. I mean, there's not many 7-round mock drafts. We'll ignore Emeka Egbuka, all that, but this is One of the best ones outside the one that we used 2 days ago. So I'll put that link in the chat. These are the landing spots that we'll use for today. Caleb Williams is a Bear. The Commanders get Drake May. Jaden Daniels goes to the Patriots. Marvin Harrison Jr. to the Cardinals. Malik Neighbors to your Giants. Brock Bowers to the Chargers. Roma Dunze to the Falcons. Really don't like that landing spot, but I'm sure we'll talk about it. Brian Thomas to the Saints. Love that he gets some respect there. Keon Coleman goes to the Steelers at pick 18. Then we see Adonai Mitchell to the Bills. Lad McConkey, my guy, Lad, the space creator, at pick 25 to the Kansas City Chiefs. You love to see that. We will ignore this pick. Emeka Egbuka is not, he's not coming to the draft. Troy Franklin is a Panther in the second round. Jalen Polk is a Patriot. Xavier Legette goes to the Titans. I'm not sure he fits that offense very well, but he went to the Titans. The Saints get Michael Penix Jr. in the second round. Jatavion Sanders goes to the Texans in the second round. Then we see Jalen McMillan, my guy, to the Browns. Into the third round, where Xavier Worthy falls very far to the Cardinals. Bo Nix to the Giants in the third round. Michael Pratt to the Raiders in the third round. Malachi Corley to the Falcons. Tez Walker to the Bears. He links back up with Caleb Williams. Roman Wilson to the Bengals. And then down where we see Trey Benson to the Packers. I don't believe there's a Travion. I don't think Travion Henderson is in this mock draft that we're using today. I guess they're predicting he's going to return, but I think he will declare. Anaya Smith to the Commanders in the fourth. Braylon Allen to the Giants in the fourth. Jermaine Burton to the Jets in the fourth. Audric Esme to the Bears. Jamari Thrash to the Raiders. Cameron Ward to the Steelers. He's an interesting high upside type of play. Johnny Wilson to the Jags. Let's see. Blake Corum at the end of the fourth to the Baltimore Ravens. The beginning of the fifth, we see Marshawn Lloyd to the Browns. Ricky Pearsall to the Panthers. Austin Reed to the Broncos. Ray Davis, sweet baby Ray, to the Rams. Jonathan Brooks to the Vikings. That's awesome to see him there. Jalen Wright to the Panthers. And then Bucky Irvin in the sixth. If you guys want to look at the rest of that, we sent the link in the chat. So, without further ado, we're going to start. We'll leave time at the very end for Q&A if you guys have questions, that aren't related to this mock. But let's go ahead and start this 2023 Superflex non-tight end premium PPR mock draft. All you need to do is draft a kicker, and then in the chat, let me know who you want to take, and we will add that player to your team. And it's good to know that Marvin Harrison's coming out. I mean, I think people were getting a little bit on edge there, but all right, is it Caleb Williams?
Yeah, it's Caleb Williams at the 101 here. No surprise from Dallas. Now Dark Raven is on the clock.
All right, Caleb Williams off the board at the 101. Remember, in this mock draft, he went first overall to the Chicago Bears, linking up with DJ Moore, linking up with Cole Kmet, linking up with Devontae Walker. So that is an exciting landing spot for him. Let's see what happens at the 102. Nathan says they aren't very interactive with the comments. Like we said just earlier, we will do a Q&A at the end, guys. We will do a Q&A at the end. And you're at, we'll do our best. I mean, we're trying to talk about the draft we're doing right now. At the 102, this is where we see Marvin Harrison Jr. come off the board. And obviously he's an Arizona Cardinal here. It feels almost like destiny that he's going to end up in Arizona. Like, what stops him from being an Arizona Cardinal?
The Bears taking him in with the first overall pick. That's
Fair
what
enough.
stops. Fair enough. But that would just be pretty wild that the Bears don't try to get a haul from a team that could get a quarterback. I don't know, was that Atlanta, Tennessee, New York, New England? But I think even if they move back behind the Washington, it feels like if they move behind the Washington Commanders, they're still locked to get Marvin Harrison Jr. unless the Commanders surprise us and they don't get a quarterback here.
Yeah.
Well,
What do you
I'm
think here
going
at the
to be
103?
taking. I normally would go Drake May here, but let's switch it up. Let's go Jaden Daniels.
Okay.
Let's just see how that goes. He goes to New England Patriots here in this mock draft. I was hoping that Marvin Harrison Jr. was falling to me at the 1-3 because I wanted to see how it felt taking him, but that was me being naive and not. Of course, he will go at the 102 and earlier. But I'll take Jaden Daniels here just to switch it up because I took Drake May in our last mock draft with the 2nd overall pick.
Yes. Yeah.
And look, this is a real possibility where Jaden Daniels could be the 2nd quarterback off the board. So
yeah,
it's definitely not a surprising move.
Y'all know me. Jaden Daniels has been my 2A to 2B of Drake May. It's not that I prefer one over the other, but I think they are in the same exact tier between Jaden Daniels and Drake May. I think they'll both be top 5 picks, if not top 10 at worst for Jaden Daniels. So cool to see him get a little respect here at the 103. You love to see it. At the 104, wow, this is crazy. Okay, so Malik Neighbors comes off the board. If you guys didn't want chalk, you're not getting chalk here. All right, Malik Neighbors comes off the board, and I'm not saying this is the wrong pick. I love me some Malik Neighbors. He actually goes to your New York Football Giants.
I'm believing
in the mock draft that we used for landing spots today. So he is headed to New York, and there was a report that came out just recently, Badaki, that I don't know if this is true or not. The Giants are going to stick with Daniel Jones. Did you see that report?
They say that all the time. Like, I'm not convinced. He said that when Daniel Jones tore his ACL. He said that in his exit press conference. I think that's just the language they're going to have to use. I think they're going to explore every avenue. If they can somehow move up and get a quarterback, they will. Like, if you're telling me right now, if the Giants had a lock at the top 3 picks, I will guarantee you they're getting a quarterback. But since they pushed themselves out, they're not getting that. So yeah, I guess they have to keep that window open.
Well, I have Daniel Jones in a couple of Devy leagues. He was just like a late round buy, and I wouldn't be upset, honestly. Just as someone who I'm a fan of the NFC East. So if Daniel Jones was your quarterback moving forward, I would love that. I would absolutely love that. So, but anyway, Malik Neighbors, I think he absolutely elevates this entire offense. He becomes your best weapon. And this isn't disrespect to Saquon Barkley, but at this point of his career, even if Saquon's back, which it sounds like he won't be, Malik Neighbors becomes the best offensive weapon that you have on your team from day one. Big fan of his game. Yeah, I've heard some pushback on my Antonio Brown comp, but he reminds me a little bit of Antonio Brown, a little bit of DJ Moore, a little bit of Reggie Wayne. Somewhere in between there, you are getting the likes of Malik Neighbors. He's a very, very special player. And I think he's in the same tier as Marvin Harrison Jr. So you got a great deal there. You're not going to believe what happened at the 105.
I'm seeing it. I am seeing it, brother.
So
it keeps falling.
I do not know what's happening today. There's something in the Kool-Aid. But at the 105 in a non-tight end premium, we got Brock Bowers off the board. And look, this is not to disrespect Brock Bowers. Brock Bowers is one hell of a prospect, and I actually think he's getting a little bit too much disrespected overall. But Brock Bowers goes ahead of Drake May. Drake May, the 2nd overall pick, is available at the 106.
Yeah, I would agree with Scribbles there. The disrespect on Drake May is it's a little bit overboard here. I'm not necessarily sure why that truly is. Personally, I'm pretty sure he will go here. I mean, obviously we're talking about him, but like if he doesn't go here, my goodness.
So Drake May does come off the board next at the 106. This is wild. Well, if you guys weren't looking for chalk, you came to the right mock draft, because Drake May just lasted to the 106, and he was the 2nd overall pick in the mock draft that we used for these landing spots. I think this is the perfect landing spot for Drake May. We saw for a time there, Sam Howell was a top 10 quarterback in fantasy for like the first 10 weeks of the season. You saw how successful a quarterback could be in that offense with the likes of Terry McLaurin, Jahan Dotson. Curtis Samuel's a free agent. We'll see what happens with him, but even Brian Robinson out of the backfield. Drake May steps into this organization is going to get a head coach, a GM that are betting their careers on him in a super flex league, and he lasted a 106.
I think it's pretty wild, and I think based off landscape alone, I would say outside of Caleb, I would say Drake May has 2 top wide receivers already at his disposal.
Yeah.
Where you look at Caleb, he only has DJ Moore, which I guess that's enough, right? You look at Jaden Daniels, maybe they do draft somebody else for him going to the New England Patriots. But like Drake May already on day one, just based off of how the teams are constructed now, he has the best weapons around him. And I don't think you can go wrong there. But I mean, I said that last year with Bryce Young, comparing those 2 landing spots, and look what happened.
Yeah.
So
at the 107, one of our favorite athletes in the class, Brian Thomas Jr., comes off the board, and in the mock draft we used today, Brian Thomas Jr. is a Saint with a 13th overall pick in the first round. So this makes sense. I don't think this is a reach, personally. How about you?
No, I don't think this is a reach here. He flanks, obviously, Chris Olave, becomes that big body receiver. He takes over that Michael Thomas type of role with a little bit more. May not be the slant king himself, but he brings a good dynamic to this offense. We hate that Derek Carr is under center, but we've seen Derek Carr produce fantasy relevant wide receivers, which is good enough for me, I guess, with Brian Thomas. So I don't mind this pick at the 107?
Yeah.
That we're at? Yeah.
At the 109, a player that we love, but this is a tough landing spot. Rome Odunze comes off the board at the 109. And look, I prefer Rome Odunze as a prospect over Brian Thomas for sure. I think he's a complete wide receiver. I'm just not a huge fan of where he landed in this mock draft. He went to the Falcons with the 9th overall pick.
Yep, 9th overall pick for the Atlanta Falcons.
It's just difficult because now you've got Drake London, you've got Kyle Pitts, you got Bijan Robinson, who's probably getting 6 at least targets a game. So ideally, we want Rome Odunze in a spot where there is no clear answer to a receiving threat, right? In New York would be awesome. The Broncos would be awesome, right? One of these spots where he steps in and instantly is the unquestioned number 1. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that Rome Odunze can't overtake Drake London, because I'm not going to sit here and say he's some inferior prospect, but he's certainly not a worlds ahead of that player. Do you know what I mean? So that's a tough spot for Rome Odunze there.
Yeah, look, I'm starting to change my thought process on the Falcons personally, and maybe it's way too early, of my disbelief in Kyle Pitts. I feel confident in Drake London. I feel confident in Bijan Robinson. And I know Kyle Pitts has struggled with injuries this year.
He was dealing with ACL, MCL, and PCL injuries all year.
Yeah, and I understand that. Like, I feel like if someone like a Rome Odunze comes to this offense, Kyle Pitts is the last target there. I mean, it still doesn't help Rome Odunze. If I had to put it in order,
it's kind of how it's already operating, though, and that's what I'm saying. Like, it's kind of already operating that way. Do you know what I mean? So it's like,
I guess that makes sense for sure.
It's just there's only so many mouths to feed, or so many targets to feed everyone. You know.
Yeah, I hear it.
Okay.
Just tough with that offense, but Gator fan here at the 109. He put it in the YouTube chat saying that he's taking Michael Penix Jr.
Okay. So
who went in the 2nd round to the New Orleans Saints. Yeah. He's saying he's pairing him up with Chris Olave and Brian Thomas Jr.
I'll say this. I love this situation for Penix. I just think it's probably too early to take him here. A 2nd round pick, when we still have some very talented players who got 1st round consideration on the board. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
that's what's tough about this. I don't think it's like an awful pick or anything, but we've got first round wide receivers on the board. A lot of first round wide receivers still available to us. And I think I would probably trust that over a quarterback who was the 45th overall pick. And look, maybe we'll look back and say, yeah, if that were to happen, of course, Penix was the right pick. He beats out Derek Carr. But at the moment, with all these options on the board, I think you got to go with the first round wide receiver. How about you?
Yeah, I would definitely agree there. I concur, sir. I mean, I would say there are 2 wide receivers that we like that are still in the first round that are worthy of going in the first round of this rookie mock draft here. So I would agree.
Yeah. I am up on the board, and I think there are 2 names in particular that if the draft were to pan out like this, and I'm sitting at the 110, and I get to choose between these 2 wide receivers that both went in the first round, I am licking my chops and thanking the good Lord above, because there feels like 2 surefire picks here. And I'm gonna go with a little personal bias in my rankings. Lad, the space creator, Ladd McConkey goes in the first round to the Kansas City Chiefs with the 25th overall pick. We'll take that. We'll take Ladd here. Oh no, I love my boy Ladd. I think personally that this is the perfect fit for this team. Now, I don't have a first round grade on Ladd necessarily. I think he's more on the edge, like first or second rounder. But in my personal opinion, this is a great fit alongside Rashee Rice. Both of these players are good after the catch. They're good yak threats. But Ladd McConkey is a much better route runner than Rashee Rice is. He can give Patrick Mahomes this reliable option over the middle of the field. We just heard from Travis Kelce, I don't know if you heard this, but Aki, that he has no plans to retire. He said this on his podcast. He said, I'm not even thinking about retiring anytime soon. He said, I'm thinking about it, but I'm not retiring anytime soon. So it doesn't seem like Kelce's going away, but you know, right now, every time a team faces Kansas City, their goal is stop Travis Kelce. Well, right now, Rashee Rice is emerging. You add Ladd McConkey, a guy who's able to create space with an instant like that in this offense, you can no longer double, triple team Travis Kelce every single snap. I mean, that's going to open up this offense beautifully. I think Ladd McConkey is the perfect fit. I mean, we've seen Justin Watson have weeks where he's just shined because who else is going to shine? Right. Ladd McConkey steps in. I think he would be a perfect fit in this offense. Great route runner. Great after the catch. And people underrate his long run speed as well. I feel like every area of his game people underrate. Reminds me a lot of Robert Woods, Deontay Johnson, Chris Godwin. Strong, reliable hands. The Chiefs need someone who can catch the damn ball. Well, Ladd McConkey had an 84% catch rate in 2023, which is 4th best out of 400 wide receivers with at least 30 targets. So I'll take my guy Ladd, the space creator here, who the first time I've seen him go in the first round of a NFL mock draft, and the first time we've selected him in the first round of a rookie mock draft.
Yeah. Ladd, the space creator, going here at the 110. And then at the 111, Troy Franklin are going to the Carolina Panthers with the first pick in the second round. A much needed weapon for Bryce Young, who struggled with weapons so far this year. Obviously, Adam Thielen kind of emerged a little bit. You saw Jonathan Mingo not really do too much. He also struggled going in and out with injuries. But hey, he comes in, gets Troy Franklin, somebody who has decent hands that could be that can stretch the field or play the slot. This is an exciting pick here.
Yeah, very exciting pick. If the Panthers don't take wide receiver at pick 33, I think the entire franchise, I think all of their fans, I think everyone in the NFL will potentially rage. They need to take a wide receiver in a stacked wide receiver class with a 33rd overall pick. But in this one, they go Troy Franklin. Now, there was another name I was personally debating with Ladd McConkey and this other guy. It's a wide receiver out of Texas. He gets taken with the next pick by Heath Bars, I believe is the name here. Adonai Mitchell comes off the board. we've got a very talented player, great route runner, sure hands. And this is an elevated Gabe Davis. Imagine if Gabe Davis was actually good.
No question.
Like, imagine if Gabe Davis was actually good and he was attached to Josh Allen. You're getting a much better version of that with Adonai Mitchell. Reminds me a little bit of T. Higgins. I think there's some DeAndre Hopkins type upside if he really masters his route running, specifically in the second level of his route. But great contested catcher. This is an absolute steal at the 112 to get a first-round pick and Adonai Mitchell to the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, I love this pick. He is definitely one of my biggest risers coming into this season. I think with Mika Mbuka also leaving, that kind of bumps him up a little bit more as well. But yeah, a big body wide receiver that can stretch the field and has very reliable hands, and that's exactly what you want for someone like an Adonai Mitchell. So I love this pick at the Bills. That's who I thought you were going to go with. But yeah, you go with Lamar Conklin with the Chiefs, which makes sense.
Look, if Vlad wasn't there, it would have been Adonai without a hesitation for me. Big fan of his game, and he's obviously, like, with Emeka Egbuka now out of the draft, you're going to see guys like Adonai Mitchell and Xavier Worthy, hopefully, right, if the NFL likes them the way we do, kind of start to move up the board. Tez Walker as well. But anyway, guys, that is the first round. Why don't you go ahead and comment right now? I want the chat to tell us who is the best pick in the first round. Who got the best value? Let us know in the chat. Let us know what the people are thinking. And do us a massive favor. Go ahead and obliterate that like button. Take out some anger. Did you have a bad day at work? Just abuse the like button. All right.
Abuse it.
Do us a massive favor and help us reach 100 likes. We are already halfway there. We're actually about 39 likes away, and we got 180 plus people watching. So do us a massive favor and smash that like button. By the way, Badaki, we could reach 10K by the end of today. 10K subscribers.
Yeah, that's
we
awesome.
are currently 38 subscribers away from 10,000, which is absolutely insane. So if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and consider subscribing.
Huge love, guys. We appreciate each and every one of you. We've seen a couple of best of the first round here. Neighbors, Bowers, May or Doomsday, they say. Anani, Drake May. I mean, Drake May has to be the best value.
That's what I was thinking.
In this mock draft, without a doubt. Where did he go here at the 106? Falling to the 6th round. That's crazy already. Rome the Doomsday at the 8. They say Drake May.
Yeah,
makes sense.
And by the way, to anybody who is just joining us, we are using the landing spots from Pro Football Network. I'll put the link in the chat. It's also in the description if you want to follow along. But without further ado, I hate when people say without further ado, but it's like such a perfect way to transition into the next phase of a video or a live stream. What is it? Guys, let me know in the chat. What's a better way to say that? Like, I honestly hate it when I watch a video and someone says, without further ado. Sounds like you're at a freaking, like, high school band recital or some shit. It's like, without further ado, Anyway. Okay.
Yes.
At the 201. At the 201.
At the 201 here, a guy that we are absolutely in love with.
Oh, yeah. You won't find anyone higher on this player than us.
Yeah, I think he should have gone in the top 3 picks here, and that's Keon Coleman. He does go in the first round. Obviously, it's a joke. He does go in the first round to the Pittsburgh Steelers in this mock draft. We are not big fans of Keon Coleman. I say this all the time. What else does he bring besides his big body, hands? And I would add speed now, right? I don't think he's not a wide receiver you want on an NFL team now in this day and age. I would say maybe if this was the early 2000s, Keon Coleman is a phenomenal wide receiver back in the day, someone that can go up and contest the catch. But that is not how the NFL is built today. You need separation and so much more that you can bring to an NFL team. So Keon Coleman here at the 201.
You and I
going to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I don't like Keon, but I don't dislike him like you do. Like, I do think he can be a good NFL wide receiver, but I just think he's a very limited route runner, and I think that could hurt his game. But I think he's more than just a contested catcher. I mean, he's decent after the catch. He's a great athlete, really good speed. But we've said this before. If we're in on Keon, it's because he has a great ball slinger throwing him the ball. I mean, if Keon goes to the Pittsburgh Steelers, respectfully, I think George Pickens is a better prospect. I would have had him as a higher prospect coming out of Georgia. So you have two guys who don't complement each other in any way whatsoever, right? Like Keon Coleman, George Pickens. If you're building a basketball team, you got two power forwards, and you're trying to figure out how to play them at the same time. I mean, that just does not make sense at all. But people do like Keon, so he comes off the board here at the 202. Badaki, a player that you and I really like, and I'm a little bit surprised at how, like in this mock draft, it makes a lot of sense because he went to the 3rd round to your Giants, so you can't really take him much higher than this. But I'm just surprised in the NFL mock draft community how little people like this player. That is Bo Nix coming off the board. Have you seen? I've not seen much love for Bo Nix in the NFL mock draft community.
Yeah, a lot of people. I mean, a lot of people like. I think it's maybe recency bias because they haven't seen Bo Nix, and they had Michael Penix higher. They have all these other guys higher, but I like Bo Nix. Haven't seen too much of him in the community. But yeah, he falls to the 3rd round here, unfortunately. But he does land in a favorable spot, I would say, to the New York Giants, who you can see a pathway to where he steps up and starts week 1 potentially for this team if Daniel Jones is not ready. And we've seen how accurate he has been, these short dink and dunk type of passes, and that's exactly what the Giants offense is. Right, you have the Wanda Robinson, now you have Malik Neighbors, you have Jalen Hyatt stretching the field, Darren Waller. So there are weapons around him if Saquon Barkley also stays. Just depends on who's going to be quarterback day 1. So yeah, I mean, Bo Nix, a very interesting prospect. I've been saying this as well. He can go from the top 10 pick all the way to the 3rd round, like he's seen here.
His range of outcomes is honestly a little bit bonkers. I get the feeling he's not going to be a top 10 pick anymore. I think his range is pick like the Kenny Pickett range. I think 1st round if one of those teams wants to take a shot. But I mean, I think like there's a lot of teams that come to mind that I'm like, damn, that would be a perfect fit. Like Bo Nix in that offense with those weapons around him. The Raiders come to mind. Could you imagine Bo Nix just distributing the ball to those weapons? That would be awesome. The Saints would be great, I think. Seattle. If he ends up in Seattle with those weapons, I think he would be an upgraded version of what they have in Geno Smith right now. So, yeah, I mean, we'll have to see if anyone values him. Ultimately, though, Badaki, when you look at the draft itself, you look at the top 10 and you're thinking Bo Nix is probably not going in the top 10. Same with Penix, right? I'll put both of those guys in that category. Bo Nix is probably not going at 7 to Tennessee or at 8 to Atlanta. 11 to Minnesota, probably too high, but maybe. 12 to Denver, probably too high. Same with the Raiders at 13. Same with the Saints at 14. And then after that, you're kind of asking yourself, maybe Pittsburgh at 23 could take a shot. They could reset the quarterback market or the quarterback contract. But after that, you're like, dang, it's going to be hard if those guys don't go that early. But anyway, you're up on the clock here. What are you thinking with this pick?
Yeah, a couple of different ways I can go. It's actually really difficult here because I think I would rather just go based off talent on my rankings than maybe somebody that's gotten draft capital. And I'll go with Xavier Worthy here in the 3rd round. He does go to the Arizona Cardinals, but he does fall to the 3rd round. Not a place that I envision him personally falling to, which is the 3rd round. I don't mind him going to the Arizona Cardinals with Marvin Harrison Jr. being the wide receiver too. In this thought process, you kind of envision maybe Hollywood Brown no longer being on this team. We've seen Kyler Murray support multiple wide receivers in the past in fantasy. So I like the talent. I like the field stretching ability. I like him playing in the slot. Now, he may not be this guy that's going to be demanding targets over Marvin Harrison Jr., but Worthy's still...
He's an upgrade on Rondale Moore and Greg Dortch.
Yeah, exactly. And they like to utilize them in creative ways. So I'll take Xavier Worthy here at the
Xavier Worthy comes off the board. He's going higher than this in the real NFL draft. There's no way he's going to fall to the third round. And obviously, this would be your Hollywood Brown replacement. By the way, I'm not sure if people really want this content, but I made a video this week where I basically talked about some free agents in the 2024 free agency cycle and talked about if we should buy or sell those players. That video is coming out soon. Hollywood Brown is in that video. Last year, there was very few impact free agents. This year, completely different story. Free agency looks like it could be the most stacked we've seen it in years, in a long, long time. So hopefully people enjoy that video. But at the 204 Badaki, a player we both really love. I mean, a 5-star athlete out of high school, underrated player in this class, I would say. That is Ja'Tavion Sanders. He comes off the board, and he goes to the Houston Texans, which actually, that's so hot for so many reasons. But he gets to stay in the state of Texas. He gets to take over the Dalton Schultz role. Unfortunately, this would put Brevin Jordan to bed. Tuck yourself in. I'm sorry. It's over.
Thank you for your service.
But Ja'Tavion Sanders would be a great addition to this team. So good after the catch. Really talented athlete. Unquestionably the tight end 2 in this class. And there's no one else that you could really even consider as tight end 2 outside of Ja'Tavion Sanders.
Yeah, 100%. Dalton Schultz finished as a top 10 tight end this year, which felt very underwhelming, but he was a guy that was getting significant points in the first half of the season. Like, he was averaging, I think, almost 10 points per game, which I think it's really good for a tight end that you probably got in your not dynasty startups, but your redraft startups, maybe went undrafted. It was one of your last picks, someone like a Dalton Schultz there, and now you get like you said, a 5-star talent in Ja'Tavion Sanders going in with an elite quarterback in CJ Stroud. It's an easy pick there.
Money signs, yeah. All right, at the 205, with the 5th pick in the 2nd round, the 2024 rookie draft, Kevin Cubb takes one of Badaki's favorites, Xavier Legette, comes off the board. He goes to the Titans in the 2nd round. Now, here's what I'll say. I really like Xavier Legette as this raw, freaky, ridiculous athlete. He's 6'3", almost 230, and he's probably going to run in the 4.3s at the combine. He's going to light the combine ablaze, genuinely. Where does he fit? Because he doesn't fit just anywhere. He goes to the Titans here. What do you think about this landing spot in Tennessee?
It's hard to envision him being in this offense because it's hard to envision this offense as a whole. New head coach, you expect a new offensive coordinator, potentially a new quarterback under center. The Titans is also a team that could be in this dogfight of getting a quarterback in the late first somehow or in the 2nd round. When you think of, we talked about Bo Nix and J.J. McCarthy's, who has been off the boards, and Michael Penix. Someone like a quarterback like that can come in and change this organization. A head coach can come in and change this organization. So I like the talent. Does it make sense with this offense right now? Absolutely not. But, you know, I think he comes in and automatically becomes a number 2, respectfully behind DeAndre Hopkins. I'm not sure if Treylon Burks is going to emerge ever again. So I think I feel confident that he is not going to be challenged significantly outside of DeAndre Hopkins, and that's really only for a year. If you think about it, because I think he's gone after this year, according to his contract, or the 2 years. Yeah. I think he signed a 3-year contract actually.
By the way, guys, we are just 20 likes away from 100. 100. I said that weird, but 20 likes away from 100. There's over 200 people watching now, which is crazy. That's so cool. Do us a massive favor. Go ahead and smash that like button just to support the channel. And by the way, if it's your first time watching, we are so close to 10K, guys. We are just 37 subscribers away from 10,000. That's a huge milestone for us. So if you have yet to subscribe, maybe you've seen our content. Honestly, maybe you think we're idiots, but you like content. And you want your league mates to see our stuff because you think we're bad. Well, if you subscribe, the more people will see us. So That's how that works.
That's how it works.
At the 206, I was really hoping that he would kind of fall to me because I'm obsessed with this landing spot. I like this player, and I love this landing spot. Devontae Walker goes to the Chicago Bears. He was drafted in the 3rd round, so you'd obviously want better draft capital, but he links up with DJ Moore and Caleb Williams. He becomes their number 2 in this offense, probably competing with Cole Kmet for that number 2 target share. Absolutely love that landing spot. And Devontae Walker, a guy that reminds me a lot of Christian Watson. He's probably not as good of an athlete as Christian Watson was, but just purely from like this big play, down the field, deep ball threat, he's got this really similar strides to Christian Watson when you watch him. But yeah, I like that pick there. I think he would complement DJ Moore really well.
Yeah, 100%. And, there's no wide receiver 2 competing with him. They've been trying to get, Darnell Mooney up and caught up, but it just still hasn't happened. So a new fresh start as the wide receiver 2 for the Chicago Bears is exactly what they need. And Tez Walker can definitely bring that to them, especially with Caleb Williams on the center as well.
Yeah, I think it's an absolute perfect fit, like a glove. At the 207, damn it. I was hoping my boy was going to fall to me at the 210, but he didn't. My boy, my RB1 in the class from day one, Trey Benson, comes off the board. In this mock draft that we used, he was the only running back drafted in the first 3 rounds. And he went to the Packers. Now,
he still goes to the Packers. Yeah. I think we still haven't found a mock draft that
there's not a mock draft out there where the Packers don't get a running back, oddly enough. But he goes to the Packers, and it makes sense. Aaron Jones hasn't been able to stay healthy. That's an ascending offense, and A.J. Dillon is A.J. Dillon. Nope, he's not the next Derrick Henry. He's just A.J. Dillon. And Trey Benson would bring a very exciting, dynamic ability to that upcoming Packers offense. So I'm glad he came off the board there. Reminds me a little bit of David Montgomery, Javonte Williams with his break tackle ability. So I think that's a great pick at the 207. Keep in mind that in this mock draft we used, TreVeyon Henderson is not available. They're assuming he comes back to school. Now, I don't think he should do that. I don't think TreVeyon should go back to school, simply because I think Quinshon Judkins is a better player. No disrespect. I just think he's a better player. Do you really want to take a back seat or at minimum split carries at your last year at Ohio State? I don't know. In a weak class, I think TreVeyon should come out, but we'll find out soon.
I wonder what...
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt. I just wonder what is the benefit of waiting so long to announce that you're going to the NFL?
I think it's probably his team doing the dirty work behind the scenes for him. Like, okay, where do we actually okay, so clearly TreVeyon, you're in a tough position because if you come back to Ohio State, you're going to play well. You're going to have a good offense around you, but you're going to have to compete with the best running back in college football for the last 2 years combined, right? So
get your degree.
Yeah, I guess he could go get his degree. But they're probably just vetting right now where they think he could go in the NFL draft before he declares or doesn't. Yeah, kind of weighing up that decision, trying to figure out what does next year look like. What happens if I come in this year? Where will I go? So, and then also weigh that up versus the NIL. But here at the 208, sure. Jalen Polk. Jalen Polk comes off the board. Mother fudger.
Jalen Polk, he does go to the New York Jets.
Jalen Polk.
New England. Patriots. He goes to New England Patriots, excuse me. He goes to New England Patriots with a 34 pick in the 2nd round here. Wide receiver out of Washington. He does link up with Jaden Daniels, and this is good for Polk specifically because he goes to this team that doesn't have too much competition. You have Demario Douglas there. I don't really see too much in Juju Smith, even though they paid him all that money. So I think he kind of comes in and could easily be a wide receiver 2 or potentially even the wide receiver 1, whatever that looks like for him. He's not an exciting prospect for me, but what he did in the Natty and in the playoffs, it wasn't too bad. He's definitely gotten the ball. He's a good field stretcher, decent hands. So just very interested to see where he actually ends up landing, because this could be a good landing spot for someone like Polk if they don't invest in another wide receiver, because this is a clear pathway to opportunity.
Yeah, I don't think Polk is going to be a true number one necessarily, but if he's in a situation like this where he could be the number one because of need, that could be a player that you could either, sell high before they add to the wide receiver room, or he could, turn out to be a very good player given opportunity. So at the 209, if Tebow is with us, let us know what you're doing here, Tebow. We'll give you about 30 seconds here to make that pick. But keep in mind, guys, Noah Mikegbuka in this mock draft, he did officially decide to return to school. We don't know about Travion Henderson yet. And January 15th, mark your calendars. By January 15th, everyone will have to have made their intentions known by then. So we will find out all these questions. We'll find out.
If they don't make their intentions known, then
they won't be eligible for the draft.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, GG's to those players.
If they don't make their intentions known, then they made their intentions known, basically.
All they have to do is just tweet NFL draft, and that's their intentions.
Yeah. At the 209, we are going to see Roman Wilson come off the board. Here's what I'll say. Roman goes in the 3rd round to the Bengals, and I think this is an attractive option because Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins, there's questions around their futures. Purely, let's take the draft capital out of it because it's better than I expected. The landing spot's fantastic. Just as a player, I'm not overly impressed with Roman Wilson. And I wanted to remove any sort of bias. I mean, I don't have a bias towards Michigan or anything, but I specifically went to my Michigan friend who helps me with Devi. That's Kyle. I said, Kyle, I don't see it, man. I don't see it with Roman. What am I missing? I mean, at best, I see a third option on an offense at the next level. He feels like a player that's better suited to college football than he is to the NFL. And I was expecting this Michigan fan to say, well, here's what you're not seeing. These are all the reasons why he can succeed. And Kyle replied and he said, I'll tell you what I think. I think he's not an NFL wide receiver. So I was like, damn, well, okay. So as a player, I'm not personally sure that he's going to be uber successful or relied upon a lot. It's kind of the way I felt about Marvin Mims. And look, Marvin Mims, I think, is a better prospect than Roman Wilson. But just a player that can contribute to an NFL offense, but unlikely to be someone that you're relying upon and getting a lot of targets at the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, look, this landing spot makes it interesting for him. You think if T. Higgins walks away or a Tyler Boyd type of role going to the Cincinnati Bengals, that could be very interesting for Roman Wilson and can rise his stock without a doubt. So, yeah, it could be very interesting here. But you're up here at the 210.
I am up here, and at this point, there's only been one running back taken in the first. Quick maths.
First 3 rounds.
Well,
of the NFL, of this mock draft, but yes.
The mock draft, I was going to say 12, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. In the first 21 picks, there has only been one running back taken. And there will not be a running back taken here because I think that there's a huge value on the board. One of my favorite players in this draft, Jalen McMillan, is staring me in the face here. He gets 2nd round draft capital, and he lands with the Cleveland Browns. And I think initially this spot might not look very favorable for some people, but when I think about this, with all due respect to Elijah Moore, he has done absolutely nothing to solidify himself and his status as a real contributor moving forward. I mean, the amount of targets that he got this year, specifically when Deshaun Watson was healthy, and how little he did with it, I think there's absolutely a open slot for someone to be the number 2 wide receiver in this offense to complement Amari Cooper specifically out of the slot, and I think Jalen McMillan would be the perfect fit there. No disrespect, but I think he's a better prospect than the likes of Elijah Moore. And I just think, you've got a guy in Deshaun Watson who's going to come back. We've seen success with Deshaun Watson. David Njoku is taking a next step up, but this is a player that I think is in a low-key exciting spot when I think about the future of this team. I think he could absolutely carve out a very nice role for himself in Cleveland, and we'll see how long Amari Cooper stays around. So, I'll take Jalen McMillan there at the 210, and I'm feeling great about it.
Yeah, definitely intriguing landing spot there for Jalen McMillan going to the Browns. Come on, Deshaun. All you got to do is stay healthy.
Yeah.
Stay healthy.
We'll see. Drew says Badaki is the Dynasty football twin of Leonard Williams. We've heard that a couple times, haven't we?
Yeah, we have.
Same bank account too.
Good looking guy. Oh gosh, if I had Leonard Williams' bank account, I wouldn't be here.
Why? You don't enjoy doing this? You wouldn't do this even if you had $1 million? Come on.
I mean, I think I will be. Honestly, what would I be doing with $1 million?
Let's say money was not an issue. What would you be doing with your life?
Stop
wasting it here then.
Stop wasting
it hanging out with me.
I actually don't know what I'll be doing. I just really would love to travel for sure. But like, what I'll be doing for work? I
mean, we're all on the edge of our seats. It's a very important question.
Look, I wouldn't mind doing this. I think like I would just invest all that money. Like we have a massive studio. Like we can have a place that both of you and I can go together and like be together and record stuff together. Because I think
that'd be cool.
That would be like an ultimate dream. I think that was one of the first things we talked about when we first started. Mm-hmm. It was like, imagine like having our own space, like having like it was.
And you moved away, unfortunately.
I'm still around. What's an hour and a half? Yeah.
All right. Off the board next is one of my favorite sleepers when you get past like the top tier of sleepers. And I don't think I have a graphic for him, which is strange because I really like this player.
Yeah, Jermaine
Burton. Jermaine Burton comes off the board there.
I saw the. I thought you had one.
I thought I had one for Burton too.
Anyways, Jermaine Burton, he goes in the 4th round to the New York Jets.
I like this landing spot, man.
A decent wide receiver 2. Once again, who is a wide receiver 2 on this Jets team with a quarterback with Aaron Rodgers? He's going to be there for, I would say, another 2 years. Flanking Garrett Wilson here. Jermaine Burton can easily step up and get opportunity, especially once again with an Aaron Rodgers-esque type of quarterback.
Yeah, I'm frustrated. I thought I had a graphic already for Jermaine, but I must have skipped out on that. My bad. But yeah, Jermaine Burton comes off the board there at the 211. Love the pick. Love how he would complement the likes of Garrett Wilson. And honestly, I think the Jets need something like this. The Jets need someone who's a good route runner, who can get open, who can complement the likes of Garrett Wilson, because right now you're asking so much of 2 players, Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson. You're asking so much of these guys. But that is the end of the 2nd round. Just like we did in the 1st round. Why don't you guys go ahead and comment in the chat. Let us know who you think was the best value in the 2nd round. What was the best value pick from the 201 to the 212, keeping in mind that the 211 is Jermaine Burton. So let us know in the comments there. And by the way, a little update on our like goal. We are currently 2 likes away from 100, and there's 198 people watching, which means we should easily be able to pass that with your guys' help. So do us a favor, go ahead and smash that like button. Help us get to 100, and update on the goal of 10K subscribers. 33. We are currently 33 subscribers away from 10,000, which is absolutely incredible. If you have yet to subscribe, maybe you've been lurking on the channel. Maybe, again, you think we're absolute idiots. And you're like, these guys have no idea what they're talking about. Well, guess what? If you subscribe and if you like the content, your league mates will watch and they'll make stupid moves, right? So go ahead and do us a favor. subscribe, hit the like button. But at the 301 Badaki, we're going to start seeing some running backs, I think, go. And the first one is Blake Corum, who ended up with the Ravens at the very end of the 4th round. I like that fit. I think he complements Keaton Mitchell really well. And you think about how Gus Edwards has been a touchdown merchant, as some people have called Blake Corum. I think you're getting an upgraded version of Gus Edwards, not to compare them as players, but little Ray Rice there, little Maurice Jones-Drew. I don't think he's as good as those players, but that's the kind of play style he's got. So we like this pick here at the 3-1.
Yeah, don't mind it. I think it's a great pick here for Blake, or a great landing spot here for Blake. Don't love the draft capital, but look, we've seen worse draft capital and more success at the running back, wide receiver position. So, and there's good value here at the 3-1, I would say.
Yeah,
as well here. And Dark Raven goes at the 302 with another running back, one of our favorite running backs coming out of this class. Unfortunately, tears his ACL. He goes in the 5th round, once again, to a very, very favorable landing spot in the Minnesota Vikings. The more and more I think about it, and I said this last couple weeks ago, or not a couple days ago, I can see him coming in and being ready by week 4, week 5, taking over this backfield, whatever backfield he goes to. And I think in a backfield like this with the Minnesota Vikings, where Alexander Madison did struggle this year, Jonathan Brooks can easily come in and take over this backfield with Kirk Cousins, Justin Jefferson.
This is the perfect landing spot, undoubtedly, for a guy like Jonathan Brooks. A team that has no clear answer. A team that's desperately looking for an answer. Even if he was a 5th round pick, I'd be all in on Jonathan Brooks to the Vikings in my rookie draft. So love that. Have to be a little bit patient because obviously tore his ACL late in the college football season, but he comes off the board there. I feel like Blake Corum and Jonathan Brooks and a couple other guys should go in the 2nd round. It's just the mock draft that we used today for landing spots did not favor running backs at all. Again, there was only one running back in this mock draft that went in the first 3 rounds that we used for these landing spots. But you're up on the board. What are you thinking there?
Yeah, I'll take the 2nd running back off the board here. Taking in this mock draft, and that's Braylon Allen. He goes to the New York Giants. I see a couple people talking about him in the chat already here. Braylon Allen goes to the Giants with the 100th pick in the 4th round. Not someone Zach and I are in love with. But, for me personally, the more and more I look into it and I'm hearing different ideas and conversations about him, I could see the pathway to where these people are talking about, but it's hard to envision it because his style of football is not what's successful now. You think of the Derrick Henrys, you think of the big body running backs that just gets 20 plus touches a game. That's the type of success Braylon Allen needs to get, where you're running in committees. Now you have to do the most with 12 touches. Can Braylon Allen do that with a 12 touches type of game? I'm not necessarily sure, but the youth is there. 19 years old, 6'2", 245 pounds.
He needs to get down because he played much better at 230.
And I think he will. I think a lot of in my opinion, I think a lot of teams are going to look at him and like his training staff and says, look, you have to be as fast as you possibly be, a big body running back that can be fast in the 40, and I think that can easily boost his stock. So once again, very young, but I think
he's young. But here's the thing, though, Braylon Allen. I would be very curious to see how many carries Braylon Allen has versus Blake Corum. Like, I know that sounds drastic. I think Blake Corum probably is like out of the park, but Braylon Allen is a 3-year starter. You know what I mean? He's not like Jonathan Brooks, where there was a star ahead of him and then out of nowhere it's like, all right, now I'm going to take the carries this year. I haven't been kind of run into the ground. So I'm not saying that he's been run to the ground or anything. I'm just saying there's this perception that like he's got these fresh legs, barely used. He was run into the ground for 3 years. As a freshman, the guy led this team from halfway the year onwards. So, but anyway, look, I think these running backs all make a ton of sense where they're going. You take a shot on these guys. You know, they didn't get ideal draft capital, but they can all contribute something a little bit different. Marshawn Lloyd goes to the Browns here, and he's the next pick. What happens with Nick Chubb? I don't know. Is Jerome Ford going to be important moving forward? Hard to say. But if this team is looking for what Kareem Hunt used to give them, Marshawn Lloyd could fit the bill here. This change of pace back, good receiver out of the backfield, kind of that lightning in a bottle type of player. Marshawn Lloyd could definitely fit the bill there for these guys. So makes a lot of sense that they would take him there. And then we see another running back off the board. We're getting a little run here. Bucky Irving. Badaki, did he go in the 6th round?
He does go in the 6th round to the Washington Commanders.
Okay.
Another favorable spot here because we've seen, well, not really favorable now with Brian Robinson kind of, at least with the 6th round draft capital, I don't see him really taking over Brian Robinson, but he can take over that Antonio Gibson role.
Yeah.
Which is really not fortunate for Bucky Irving. But look,
fun player, but
yeah, fun player, a PPR monster. I think in an offense that he can be successful in. But someone like a Brian Robinson, I am scared of, and whoever comes in now, he's like, look, well, you're not our style of play. We're gonna get more of a pass catching guy.
Maybe
which we've seen with him with that this year, a little bit.
He's excelled as a pass catcher this year. Johnny Wilson comes off the board here. Every week there's like one comment in our comment section about Johnny Wilson, about how he's this. I'm not making this up. Someone commented today that Johnny Wilson's the next Puka Nacua. Someone said that, for real.
Who said that?
In a comment section.
In a comment?
Yes. Every week there is this Johnny Wilson hive that comes out, and one of them is talking him up. I wanted to like Johnny Wilson. I really, really wanted to like him. But look, Johnny is he's playing the wrong sport. He should be playing basketball. He's 6'7", and it shows. I mean, there is not much fluidity to this guy's game. It's not very dynamic. He's a big body. I think he's better suited at tight end. But where did he go in this draft?
Johnny Wilson goes to
Jaguars in the 4th round. Okay.
Yeah, there you go. It's 117 to the Jacksonville Jaguars.
So he goes to the Jags in the 4th round. Yeah. I know there's a lot of Johnny Wilson people. So look, I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe Johnny Wilson is going to be a very exciting impact player at the next level, but I don't see that personally after watching the All-22. What's next? We've got Spencer Rattler coming off the board. Wow. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Spencer Rattler at one point was the face of college football for a little while there. And obviously, not to say that people liked him, but he was a big conversation topic. And now here he is going at the mid-3rd of a rookie draft. And in this mock draft, he goes to the Colts in the 3rd round, the Falcons in the 3rd round.
Who comes behind Spencer Rattler?
I don't understand.
Spencer Rattler got benched.
Caleb Williams.
Yeah, it was Caleb Williams,
at Oklahoma.
Right?
Yeah, it was Caleb Williams. That was the Red
unlucky.
River rivalry, and Oklahoma was getting wrecked, and then Caleb Williams came back.
That was just unfortunate for my guy.
That was a Caleb Williams coming out day.
Yeah, because he came back and won that game against
I believe
Texas,
so,
right?
yeah. And then obviously transferred to USC the year after. But at the 308, this is where Jacob Coing is going to come off the board. I definitely think he can be a contributor to an NFL offense. But, similar to Roman Wilson, just not a player that I imagine, and I could be wrong because I've been wrong before, but not a player that I imagine is going to be a crucial part of an offense. He joins the Colts in the 3rd round, so it's decent draft capital, but if they do bring Michael Pittman, you've got Pittman there, you've got Josh Downs, you got Alec Pierce. Where does Jacob Coing fit in? So that's a tough one. But at the 309, we've got Tebow up on the clock. Let's see what he decides to do. Travion has until January 15th. Yeah, Brian. January 15th he has until declare. All these guys, January 15th is the last day that they can declare for the NFL draft.
That would be Monday. What is it? A time limit? Is it just like Monday at 4 o'clock, or
I don't know the exact time, but definitely on the 15th is the last day. Okay, so at the 309, a player that you really like comes off the board.
Yeah,
I'm more indifferent to him, but Malachi Corley comes off the board. What do you like about this player? And how do you feel about the landing spot?
Landing spot's terrible. Let's start there. He goes to the Atlanta Falcons, especially where the Falcons did take Roma Doomsday here. I mean, we kind of spoke about it earlier. Roma Doomsday, Kyle Pitts, Drake London, Bijan Robinson. Where can someone like a Malachi Corley fit into this offense? I'm not sure where he can fit. I doubt he can fit at all. More of a special teams player, in my opinion, if you take someone like a Malachi Corley. But what's really exciting is a yards after the catch type of opportunity. 5'11", 220 pounds, a big body, I would say, a rugged type of wide receiver that can take the ball down the field at any given opportunity if he does get the ball, right? So I think it's really exciting here. I kind of compared him with the traits and the utilization of a Deebo Samuel. Not saying he has the same talent, but the way Deebo is utilized could be the same way Malachi Corley can be utilized in this offense or in any offense. So that's what's exciting about him.
So here I am at the 310, and there's really not a player that I could truthfully say I'm excited about drafting here. Given the mock draft we're using, there's a couple players I like. So I'm just going to take this opportunity to shout out a player at the running back position that not a lot of people are talking about. It's the kid out of Tennessee. That is Jalen Wright. He goes to the Panthers in the 5th round. Now, as good as Chuba Hubbard has been, there's been no clear answer for the Panthers at running back at this point. And if there's going to be a new head coach and there's going to be a new GM, there will be no allegiances to anyone. I'm not claiming that Jalen Wright's going to beat out the likes of Chuba Hubbard, but I do really like this kid's game. He's got a ton of juice, great speed, great burst, just an exciting athlete. It's like the discount version of Marshawn Lloyd in a way, but we're talking about Jalen Wright, by the way, who played in the SEC and averaged over 7 yards per attempt. Averaged over 7 yards per attempt in the SEC is ridiculous. So I'll take him there. I'm not going to sit here and say that he's a superstar or anything, but we will go ahead and take him there at the 310. And let's see what Alessimo does at the 311. By the way, big shout out to Alessimo. He signed up to the Mother Flocker tier using our promo code LAND recently. So big shout out to him. Thank you for the love. Definitely means a lot. But let's see what pick he makes there.
It's like he's typing here. Let's see. Not too much value on the board anymore. A lot of tough landing spots for some players that we really like here.
Well, a little bit difficult, isn't it? Okay. Yeah. I am almost certain I don't have a graphic for this player, but let me double check. Do I? I don't think I do. So Brian Nesbitt comes off the board.
Yeah, tight end.
Tight end for the Browns. Yeah, I don't know anything about Bryson Nesbitt. So there's the unrivaled analysis for you guys on Bryson Nesbitt.
I think this year's class in tight end is just night and day. You have Brock Bowers, Jatavion Sanders, and then it just falls. But last year it was like, oh my goodness, I can't wait to get a tight end this year.
Yeah.
So I think it's gonna be I think one of these guys can show up somehow, some way. That it just comes out of nowhere, but we won't know who that is until he actually breaks out.
Sure. By the way, we got a super chat from Aaron Swarm. What's up, Aaron, man? Been a while. Good to have you back on the channel. He says,
"Hey, man.
Bryce, I'm guessing this is Bryce Young, right? Is the only one safe with a new GM and head coach." Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
that's a tough job to take, but someone's gonna think they can turn it around, right? If you look, there's a lot of narcissism up there, and at some point, if you're a GM or a head coach, you kind of have to have a little bit of this reckless belief in yourself. And there will be someone out there who says to themselves, if I can turn around the Carolina Panthers, I will go down in history, right? And so someone's going to take on that challenge. And I agree, Bryce Young's the only one who's safe there. But at the 312, Will Shipley comes off the board. I think he was a 7th round pick. Correct me if I'm wrong, Badaki.
Will Shipley, 7th round pick. And yes, he goes to the Raiders, it looks like, in this mock draft.
So that's going to be the last pick in the 3rd round. We probably won't do a 4th round, guys, just because, honestly, looking at the players available, we got Michael Pratt. That could be fun. We got Audric Esme. He probably should have been drafted. Cameron Ward. We've got Ray Davis. But there's just not a lot of players that people are probably obsessed with. So we'll go ahead and end the mock draft there. But just wanted to say we are going to do a 5-minute Q&A. So if you would like to ask us any questions, now is the time to go ahead and get your questions in. Again, a 5-minute Q&A. And just before we do that, if you guys are watching this, you're probably diehard Dynasty guys. You probably are absolutely obsessed with the NFL draft like us, like myself and Badaki. You're probably watching draft content on a daily basis. It probably consumes your life at this point of the year. If you want to learn more about this 2024 rookie class, the good news is we just released version 1.0 of our 2024 rookie report. And if you want to have access to that, all you need to do is sign up to the Flock Fantasy website with our promo code LAND. I just put that link in the chat. If you sign up to this website with our promo code LAND, make sure you're on the Mother Flocker tier. You will see our 2024 Dynasty Rookie Report, which, by the way, will update every single month, the first of every month. So February 1st coming up, you'll get a whole new version of this rookie report with, more players scouted, more information. You can see a little teaser here of what that looks like. Profiles for as many players as you can handle, and obviously our rankings that are consistently updated. It is well worth the bang for your buck, and we've had some great responses from that. So again, if you want to have access to our 2024 rookie report, go ahead and make sure that you sign up to the Flock Fantasy website using our promo code LAND. Not only do you get access to the rookie report, you get access to Dynasty Superflex, Dynasty 1 quarterback rankings. You can add a specific expert on the site. If you want to add Badaki's rankings, you can see that there. Let's say you're trying to build a really young team. You can look at our rankings from 18 to 24, or maybe you're looking for some vets. You can go ahead and look at players that are from the age of 25 to 31. We also have the best calculator in the industry. Again, using our promo code LAND, if you sign up, you'll get access to all of this. Let's say you want to see recent trades for Puka Nacua. Well, we have the best calculator in the industry. As soon as you click on Puka Nacua, you're going to see real trades that have happened in sleeper leagues across the entire Sleeperverse, okay? Not only do you get access to all of these amazing perks on the Flock Fantasy website, when you sign up with our promo code, you also get one Dynasty team review where we personally break down your team for you, give you advice. You also unlock the Dynasty Trade Show, which is a show that we do every week where we can review your trades in a video. You also get access to the Fantasy Hotline, which is a direct DM where you can ask us advice in a DM. So, I honestly have no doubt that this is the best bang for your buck in the industry. Not only do you get all of our articles, you get every expert's articles on the website. Incredible value, and we're very proud to be able to offer it. So, again, consider signing up, supporting the show, and getting some awesome perks in return. But, wait, there's more. It's like an infomercial.
Wait, there's more. Sham wow.
Oh, is the one where there's a crack in the water and it goes BAM!
Yeah.
Wait, there's more. Fantasy Hotline.
That's hilarious. I'm definitely signed up.
We should actually pay someone on Fiverr to make a promo like that for us. We could just play it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That'll probably be super cringe.
It would be hella cringe, but embrace it. All right, let's answer some questions here, Badaki. The first one's from Zach. Go ahead.
Yeah, he said any reason slash landing spots that should stop me from taking Caleb Williams and Martin Harrison Jr. at the 101, 102. No, I think there is no landing spot or there's no landing spot whatsoever that's going to take me. If you're telling me the Titans trade all the way up to go get Caleb Williams, you're telling me the Giants go trade up, the Falcons trade up, whatever that team is, I don't care who it is. I'm still taking Caleb Williams and or Martin Harrison Jr. if I can.
Yeah, I don't think so, but we'll see. Why did the Cardinals lose to the Bears? That's a great question. We can't answer that. What is Jahan Dotson's wealth in Dynasty? Wealth, maybe like value. We just released a video today.
We did just release
that wasn't received with the most joy, I'd say, but you brought him as a buy low on that video.
Yeah, I did buy him as a buy low. I mean, I'll give you a quick little synopsis here. I think he's a good wide receiver that you could potentially buy right now if you were believing in a quarterback to come in like Drake May or Jaden Daniels that could turn around. Curtis Samuel is a free agent. So I would really encourage you to go watch that video there, Aaron, and kind of gives you the breakdown. I give you the price, who you can trade for, picks, or trade away to acquire Jahan Dotson. I
would agree with you. I think he's a great buy because there's a quarterback change coming. Nicholas says, I have T, Nico, Garrett Wilson, and Waddle for y'all. Look to sell Ridley for a couple seconds or any of them top 4 wideouts for a 1 maybe. T, someone I want to buy right now. Nico, I look, there is some concern with Nico because people keep mocking wide receivers to the Texans, but it's hard to say he hasn't proven himself. Like, honestly,
I'm not sure if a wide receiver is going to scare me.
Why would they not feel comfortable with their wide receivers? That's what I keep asking myself.
Yeah, exactly. And I think of like the top 5 wide receivers that will go, like, let's just say, obviously you have Malik Neighbors, Martin Harrison, Rome Odunze. Let's just say Troy Franklin and Brian Thomas. I don't think they land where in the Texans area. So you're telling me someone like Alad McConkey, a Jalen McMillan, Xavier Worley, respectfully, I'm not saying those guys aren't better than Nico Collins or can't be better. I think Nico Collins has solidified himself with CJ Stroud to where they can look at Nico and be like, should we really draft? Or should we can draft him, but like he's not going to be losing a lot of his workload, in my opinion.
Yeah, as far as Ridley goes, I don't believe you could get multiple seconds for him. If you could, yeah, do it. But I think the best you're going to get is a mid to late second. And if that's the best offer, I would be willing to hold him because he's probably going to enter free agency. The Calvin Ridley, Trevor Lawrence era did not really work out the way I wanted it to, or many people wanted it to. But I still believe, based off watching some of those all 22 games, that Calvin Ridley's still a very good player. And if he's available in free agency, he's going to get an absolute bag. He's going to have a chance to prove himself with a different quarterback. So, I mean, it doesn't sound exciting, but Calvin Ridley could be the number 1 in Carolina instantly. You think he couldn't do what Adam Thielen did, but at a better, with more efficiency? He absolutely could. What if Calvin Ridley, they do let him enter free agency and the Chiefs are like, you know what? Let's get us some Calvin Ridley. So,
yeah, Calvin Ridley is I think a favorable wide receiver that can go to any team. Like, what am I trying to say? Like, yeah,
he's not going to be a top 5 guy ever again, but he's a flex for sure wherever he goes.
Yeah.
All right, John is the next one. He says, I got pick 101 and 105 in a 1 quarterback 16-man with Fields and Zay and Watson and JMO at wide receiver. Thoughts?
I pick 102, 105 in a 1 quarterback.
None of those wide receivers. I like Zay Flowers, but y'all know how frustrated I am with his usage. I like Watson. I like Jameson Williams, but honestly, if those are your main wide receivers, this is a great class to have picks in because you need to fill the stalls with wide receivers.
Yeah, I would agree there. I think the next one is Christian.
Yeah.
He said, what, if anything, would you guys be willing to send away to get rookies like Mims and Tillman? I have them and thinking about trying to send multiple of those type of guys for single. To consolidate.
This might be my personal bias. I've never been a Marvin Mims guy. I would not see Mims or Tillman worthy of a 2nd round pick.
Yeah.
And I don't think you can buy them for a third.
No. And I think if it comes down, I would say the person I would want to buy out of the two that you mentioned is Marvin Mims. Remember, first wide receiver that Sean Payton drafted with his first pick in the second round, if I'm not mistaken. The pathway to workload could be there, especially with Cortland Sutton potentially moving on, Jerry Jeudy potentially moving on, a new quarterback coming in. They're going to do a massive sweep. I think if you do a bigger trade and Marvin Mims can be a throw-in, that can really benefit you.
Yeah.
But I don't think you should send a mid-second for Marvin Mims or even a late second for Marvin Mims, personally.
Last pick in the second round, by the way, this year. Yeah.
Okay.
Is Richardson a top 10 quarterback next year? I think so, man. I definitely think so. I mean, I was talking about this over on our redraft channel because he was one of those players I suggested getting late to just see what would happen. But Anthony Richardson, like, if you take out the games where he was injured, the guy was on track to be a top 3 quarterback last year. You know, those games where he got injured really, you know, because there's a game in week 5 versus Tennessee, he played 33% of the snaps. There's a game in week 2 versus Houston, he played 32% of the snaps. But the 2 games where he was healthy and he finished, he averaged over 27 points per game, about 28 points per game in a 6-point passing touchdown league. So, yeah, I personally think top 10 is absolutely within the realm of outcomes for Anthony Richardson.
Yeah,
it's just unfortunate that he wasn't able to develop as a passer this year.
Yeah, I would agree there. Gator fan, thoughts on Estime and Ricky Pearsall? I mean, Estime is just, I think, a goal line, big body guy that can come in, change the pace. You know, short yardage type of guy. I don't see too much of an outlook for him. Maybe he lands in the perfect spot. And Ricky, I'll be honest with you, I haven't done enough scouting to understand his game.
Sure.
But yeah, Estime, that's how I view him. Just a goal line type of guy.
He is super interesting because I personally believe anyone who watches film won't be thrilled. But if anyone's like stat chasing, hard to get much better this year than Audric Estime. I mean, this year he had over 1,300 yards, 18 rushing touchdowns. But it's just my personal opinion. I trust film a little bit more than the average guy.
He just doesn't fit this day and age NFL.
Yeah, he's just not an exciting player. He's got very little elusiveness. Not a very exciting player in the open field. He's definitely not a home run hitter. And in today's NFL, where we're really trying to get athletes in space, I feel like that's the worst place for Audric Estime to be. So it's not exactly exciting in my opinion. Sparrow says, would you trade a pick earlier than the 108 in Superflex for Kyron? No, I wouldn't. But
no one's taking less than that from Kyron.
You're not getting a Kyron. Like, if you're competing this year, there's not a running back you could draft at the 108 that would give you what Kyron Williams probably gives you. So I'll just say that. Quivon, what's up? Says, what draft pick is Trevor Lawrence worth in a 1 quarterback league? Ooh, 1 quarterback?
I think he's worth a
late first, early second.
Yeah, I was gonna say 108, 109. I think that's where it starts.
That's tough. 1 quarterback's so difficult because, I mean, how big is your league? If it's an 8-man league, maybe. It's almost not thinking about it. It's like way less.
Yeah.
But if you're in like a 16-man, you know, that would obviously raise his value. But 1 quarterback leagues are so difficult because they really I would say more than Superflex. The value is really all over the board. But yeah, I would say a late first, early second. Depends on your league.
I would agree.
Steven says, when we renew, can we still use the promo code and do we get a new team review? Yes, absolutely. So if you guys are on a yearly membership like Steven and you used our promo code LAND when you signed up, if you go to your account page, it will still say the promo code that you're using is LAND. Keep that as is. When you renew, you will get the 30% off like you did when you signed up. And of course, each new year, you'll get a new Dynasty team review. So yes, absolutely, Steven.
Yeah.
Billy Mays here.
Billy May is here. Andrew, 103 or Trevor Lawrence here?
That's going to come down to your belief in the quarterbacks in this class, assuming this is a super flex question. The question is, do you prefer Trevor Lawrence or do you prefer Jaden Daniels or Drake May? And you're going to have to kind of make that decision for yourself. What would you prefer,
Bedaki? Right now?
Yeah.
I'm thinking about it right now. I honestly don't know. I would say this. And once again, I'm going back on a huge mistake I made this year, but like just based off of my gut feeling, Drake May to the Commanders, I'll take right now over Trevor Lawrence. But Jaden Daniels as a Patriot, I'm questioning it based off the weapons. But once again, that can grow in years to come. That can change in years to come.
Yeah.
So there's no right answer. I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know what to tell you right now, Andrew.
Yeah, I think there's more safety with Trevor Lawrence. But there's probably more exciting untapped upside. I mean, think about it. People got CJ Stroud at the 105 last year, but that is not common. It is not common, and it shouldn't be the expectation to get a player like that at the 105.
Yeah.
So there's more safety in Trevor, but there's more upside elsewhere.
This is what I would say with Trevor Lawrence. I'm not sure if he's going to be higher than what he's finished last year, which was like top 10, right? He was like QB8 or something like that. I think we've seen his ceiling.
I do think he will. You know, I keep talking about it, but I look.
I think he's hit it personally, in my opinion.
I don't think he's reached his upside personally. I keep talking about this video that's circling around. I would highly encourage you guys, if you're on Twitter anywhere or X, whatever, you should go look for this video where Trevor Lawrence, the amount of throws where a receiver had 1 foot in the end zone for a touchdown and they didn't actually convert it for a touchdown. If it was college rules and you only needed 1 foot for a touchdown, Trevor Lawrence, I'm not joking when I say this, he probably leads the league in passing touchdowns. There's a good quarterback who, hey, it's not all there yet. That's okay. It's okay for me that it's not all there yet. But in my personal opinion, I don't think he's reached his peak yet.
That is fair. That is fair. It says, I rock with Jahan Dodson. It says, with still being fairly new to Dynasty, when you are a rookie drafting, when do you draw the line for balancing good landing spots versus draft capital?
Yeah, I mean, look, Puka Nacua was a 5th round pick. Tank Dell was a 3rd round pick, right? So that's rare though. People are going to ask all offseason, who's this year's Puka Nacua? Probably nobody. There's probably nobody going in the 5th round that's going to do that. That will end up a top 12, probably top 7 to 6 wide receiver in Dynasty rankings. What I will say is, for me, it probably happens right after that 1st round is finished, both in the NFL draft and in your rookie draft. Right around that 1st round, let's say there's a wide receiver that goes top 50, but there's a running back that went in the 3rd round in a really good landing spot. I think that's where you kind of start to weigh the balance between those two options.
Right.
But you never let a 1st round wide receiver, you just never let that guy go if he's available in the 2nd round.
I would agree. Mr. Bakes a lot says, I want Fields and have the 102 and the 109 and the 112. What would you guys pay for an uncertain quarterback?
Okay, let's start here. Justin Fields is going to start somewhere next year, correct?
Yes,
I would agree. So let's just start there. He's going to start somewhere next year. Now, is there security long term? No. So this could go one of two ways. I would say probably the 102 is off the table. There's not even a conversation. But yeah, the 109 and something I would be willing to do. The 109 and some piece I don't care about. We talked about Marvin Mims earlier. The 109 and Marvin Mims. The 109 and Jaleel McLaughlin. You know, just thinking of names that people are hyped on right now. Could you swap him for Tajay Spears for Justin Fields in a couple seconds? Probably not, but, you know, just throwing out ideas.
Yeah, I think this is the perfect time to buy Justin Fields, because if he goes to the Atlanta Falcons, I think he skyrockets, in my opinion, based off the weapons he has, based off of the head coach that's potentially going to go there, right? You think of Justin going to the Giants, and in this mock draft, they get Malik Neighbors, Darren Waller, Saquon Barkley if he stays. That's really exciting. You think about who Justin Fields has had for his career, and we've seen it with DJ Moore and only DJ Moore. right? You had Cole Kmet, Darnell Mooney. He upgrades significantly no matter where he goes at this moment,
Yeah.
which is exciting.
Yes, it is. All right, guys, we'll probably only be live for the next couple minutes. You have no obligation to do this, but if you do really want a question answered, a super chat's going to get it answered straight away. But of course, feel no obligation to do so. I'm just telling you, we're going from top to bottom here, and we'll only be live for the next couple minutes here. Is Cornelius Johnson declaring? I don't even know who that is, bro. I'm not going to lie to you. I do not know who Cornelius Johnson is.
It sounds like a made-up person.
I hope to see us at 10K too, man. That'd be awesome. Steven says, thanks. You should consider letting us bribe you for more team reviews. Yeah, we've talked about that.
We have.
I have an idea. I have an idea of how to do that. I just don't want to disrespect people either. If they're like, wait, you want to pay again?
Yeah, it's hard. It's a hard place because some people be like, well, why I gotta pay again? I already support you. But like, we can only do so much, you know?
If we gave everyone unlimited, we would never stop doing team reviews. Ever. Our entire channel would be team reviews.
And we honestly, we find it difficult because a lot of people sign up and then cancel.
That is frustrating when that happens.
It's also really frustrating. So
Daniel says, I took over an orphan team week 5. I have Richardson and no one else in a 12-team super flex, half tight and premium. I have the 108, 204, 209, and 306. What would be worth it to trade up for a top 3 quarterback? Just like, I love the second round this year, but I'll be honest, I would use all of the picks that you have to get into the top 3 personally.
Yeah.
And if you have the 103, are you really going to say yes to the 108 and the 204 alone?
I agree. I also think like maybe it's a little bit, if you want to solidify your draft, like your quarterback, since you're struggling, sure. But what if that 108 is someone like a Justin Fields that we just spoke about, Daniel? Do you believe in a Justin Fields?
Yeah, you could take a shot on Justin.
You can send the 108 and maybe the 209 to get a Justin Fields. Or you can do the 204 if you like. Once again, it just depends on how you believe in a caliber quarterback like that. I think you can buy someone. I don't think you can get Jordan Love for the 108. I think you can actually. I don't think he's more than the 106 actually. So I think you can do a Jordan Love if you want to try that.
I doubt you get Jordan Love for the 108, but if you can, absolutely do it. I'm really reassessing how I value Jordan Love. And
let's see what the community
there's no way you should be able to get him for the 108, but if you could, that would be a huge deal.
Is it worth trading Fields and taking one of the top 3 quarterbacks in this draft? John said.
Yes. I mean, if the question is, can I get a top 3 pick for Justin Fields? Yeah. Absolutely.
I hate Fields.
Andrew says, in startup and took the 101 and got my second pick and was between T-Law or 103 from Mayor Daniels. Was thinking safety net with Trevor since I'm already snagging Caleb at the 101, but went with the 103 because I love Jaden Daniels. Yeah, see, in that situation, I probably would have gone Trevor just because what happens if both of these guys don't work out? You know, we know Trevor Lawrence is a good quarterback. I mean, some people might not agree, but I think he's a good quarterback who just hasn't really gotten all there yet. So that's a tough call, though. I mean, you did go all upside. Call. It could really hit.
It could.
Jeff, this is probably the last one today. I've been offered the 102 Neighbors for Gibbs and 10. Seems excessive. Worth considering. I've been offered the 102. I guess that's Neighbors for Gibbs and I guess the 110. You reckon?
Yeah.
I have Jefferson and Olave. Would start Kyron and James Cook or Javonte Williams if I did. So that's interesting because you have some good running backs on your roster already. You know, it's not like this is like I got Josh Jacobs and fucking Najee Harris. You know, you're like, what the? I don't feel good about any of those guys. Feel good about Kyron personally. James Cook is fun. Javonte Williams going to be a year removed from his injury.
This is interesting. I mean, what do you get? Who are you getting at the 110 in a one quarterback?
Yeah,
Probably a
one
quarterback.
quarterback is tough.
Probably a quarter. That's what you think of. I'm trying to think. So, like for example, the 110 today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 was Keon Coleman. Xavier Worthy is the 110.
Which could be a
If you
good
take
player,
those
but
quarterbacks out.
I don't think it's going to be a huge impact to your roster.
So you get Gibbs and Malik Neighbor, or an Xavier Worthy type of player. Or
that's pretty even, I would say, but
you can go for a running back then, and like Trey Benson, and then you get 2 running backs. Or yeah, it's tough. Tez Walker.
I believe that Neighbors and Gibbs will be very evenly valued mid-year next year. So you decide what you believe is best for your roster, really. We did get a super chat from Dawson. This will probably be the last question we'll answer today. Thank you for the super chat, man. Appreciate you. That's very kind. 101, 105, 109, non-superflex, start 9, and I have Jalen, trash running backs, Gibbs. So you got a good one. Ford, Stevenson, Gus. I mean, that's actually not a bad running back room. Wide receivers, I have Amon-Ra, T, Ridley, Wicks. Tight end, I have TJ, Hawkinson, McBride, and Pitts. I mean, you're fucking stacked. What is the question there? I guess what to do with these picks. At the 101, you go Marvin Harrison Jr. Undoubtedly. But Jahmyr Gibbs, you just need Ford or Stevenson to have a role next year, and you have a pretty good team. Do not sell Jahmyr Gibbs under any circumstance because you will not be able to replace him. You won't. The 105 and the 109 in a one quarterback. I mean, let's think about this, Badaki.
I think that's like a Rome Odunze. That's
probably not. Rome's going to go top 3, I think.
Oh, true.
You're going to miss out on Odunze and probably miss out on Bowers. That's fine because you have so many tight ends.
So that's like what, a Troy Franklin?
Troy Franklin, Brian Thomas, Travion Henderson if he declares, Trey Benson. So yeah, I think you probably go one of those wide receivers, Troy Franklin, Brian Thomas.
Yeah.
And then also between Trey Benson and Travion, 2 really good options to improve your running back room there. So with how weak this running back class is, in a way it actually benefits your 105 and 109 picks because you might be able to get some impact players at the running back spot.
Yeah, I agree there. Those are the best players that you could potentially get coming in this year.
Yeah. But yeah, I think you have a good team, man. This team looks very good.
Yeah.
I mean, you're stacked at tight end. You've got TJ Hawkinson, Trey McBride, and Kyle Pitts.
That's what I was gonna say. Maybe you should trade one of these guys for.
He actually just asked that. He says, "Should I try to sell a tight end this offseason?"
Yeah, I mean, I would be willing to. Personally, I think the person I would want to trade is Kyle Pitts. I'll be honest with you. I don't care if he gets a new quarterback or not. I think I've kind of made the narrative in my head, and maybe that changed later on as the season gets closer. But I think Kyle Pitts is the third option in this offense, and it's not exciting. And there's so many teams or mock drafts, whether it's true or not, they get another weapon. Whether it's in the first or the second round, they get another quarterback.
Yeah, I would be in the opposite in there. I'm actually looking to buy Pitts right now because he's very affordable, and there is no doubt going to be a quarterback change and a head coach change. So to me, it would be the wrong time to trade Pitts away. I want to buy him. I would actually look at trading Trey McBride, not because I don't like this player, but because you already have TJ Hawkinson. So if it's Hawkinson or McBride, which of these two can I get the absolute max value? Some people have McBride as their tight end 1. I'm not making that up. There's some people in this industry who have McBride as their tight end 1. I think he's top 3. So if you can trade him and go get, another powerhouse back, Devon Achane, probably not doable, but that's an option. Or if you can improve your wide receiver room, that's something I think you could consider. He says, I was thinking selling Hawkinson because he's the biggest name and Bride is still great. Yes. So if you can sell Hawkinson,
you can definitely do that as well.
In a one quarterback, I mean, what could you get for Hawkinson? I wouldn't mind just getting more draft capital, honestly, but also you could potentially like pair him to get a big name. Like if you can get Achane out of that, I think you'd be feeling really good.
The problem with Hawkinson that I don't think someone just said it, like Hawkinson just got injured. I think a lot of people are going to be skeptical about that.
That's why I was saying McBride, but
right. I think that's why I was saying Pitt, because I still believe in TJ Hawkinson as a talent, especially when he comes back. It just may not be next year.
I think Pitts is going to give you
healthy.
the least return, though, and I think he has just
yeah.
as
Look,
much upside
I
as
would
everyone
agree.
there.
Like Pitts is probably the worst player to sell, but maybe he is the best to sell right now. But maybe when he does get a new quarterback, he'll be the best player to sell because of the upside. You know, Zach is saying he wants to keep him because of the quarterback change. Once that quarterback change happens, how much can you get for Kyle Pitts?
Yeah.
But it doesn't really matter. Whichever one, I think either or, I think you'll be all right with it. All three, any two of these three, any two out of the three tight ends, personally.
Yeah.
Just depends on the value that you can get for any one of these guys.
Yes, sir. Okay, guys, that's probably going to be it for today. But friendly reminder, we're going to start doing Dynasty team reviews. We'll be live streaming and trying to help people improve their Dynasty teams. If you want in on that, make sure you're signed up over on the Flock Fantasy website. I just put a link in the chat. Again, not only do you get our Dynasty rookie report, you get the trade calculator, you get access to rankings. If you want to see our rankings, if you want to see the community's rankings, these consistently update. They're reliable. But you also get the Dynasty team review. You also get the Dynasty trade show unlocked. You unlock all the premium channels we have on Discord, and you unlock the DM to us in the fantasy hotline. But that's it for today, guys. We appreciate you. Sorry we weren't able to get to every single question. We did try our best, but that's it. Drop a like, subscribe, go check out the video we just released on the channel, and we'll see you very soon. All love.
Love.